Welcome to another episode of the Faith-Based Weight Loss podcast and training. We have an awesome topic for you today. We are going to be talking about, is your mindset holding you back from losing weight, and how to move from bondage to freedom with your mind. And I know this is a very important topic, and I will say popular topic and relevant topic. Today we have a special guest, as you can see. Dawn, say hello.
Hi there.
Dawn is just going to be there for a little bit till I'm ready, but we're going to talk to Dawn today and learn about her story, and particularly how her mindset was so critical in her journey. And I'm just so excited to hear your story, Dawn. And so if you are watching this training on YouTube or iTunes, Spotify, wherever you're watching, I want to invite you to join this community. Go to www.facebook.com/groups/faith-based weight loss for women, number 4. And you don't want to be left out. This is the best community for faith-based women who want to lose weight and be transformed in mind, body, and spirit. So we invite you to join us. Today, I actually want to give you a homework. Your homework is going to be to post a win or a gratitude. I know it's a little bit cheesy because it's less than a week from Thanksgiving, but really, I want you to post your wins and just start. And some of you have done that. And I've loved some of the posts this week that have asked for prayer and sharing burdens. And so you can even post that, but I want you to post something in the group. Let's get to know each other, and let's tap into the community of this group and help each other out. So let's dive in, because I can't wait to hear from Dawn. And I love these interviews because you guys get to hear from women who are being transformed, and it's happening. And if it can happen with Dawn and others, it can happen with you. So sometimes we can be feel like, man, it'll never be me. That's not true. That's a lie. It can be you. And so today our topic and kind of the angle of Dawn that Dawn brings is your mindset holding you back from losing weight, and how to move from bondage to freedom? If you want to hear Dawn's story, let's drop mindset in the comment. That's like your drum roll. So mindset, super important in your journey. And I wrote a couple of notes, and then we're going to dive in with Dawn. What your mind conceives, it will achieve. And this is not just like a random thought. Proverbs 23:7 reminds us that as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So if you really believe you're not going to succeed, you're going to fail, you're going to hit barriers that you can't pummel through, likely that's what's going to happen. Our neuroscience heavily supports this as well. We need to retrain our neural pathways to think differently. And this is what we are going to hear in Dawn's story. So Dawn, tell us a little bit. We're going to dive right into you. I'm going to skip some of my notes. Dawn is a real life example of how mindset was key to success, right, Dawn?
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll talk about that. Yeah. So before we get there, tell us a little bit about you. Where do you live?
I live in Dearborn, Michigan, which is right outside of Detroit.
Yeah. And you have one dog?
I actually share ownership of a dog. I am single, and I help take care of my father with my sister. My mom passed away from cancer about 5 years ago. So we take care of my elderly father, who is 84 years old. Actually is a very spoiled father, but yes. So we help take care of him. He's got some health problems, but for the most part is very healthy.
Yes, so. I love it. And Dawn has had quite a week. You guys will show her love. Her doggy had to have surgery.
Yeah,
and
he had to have knee surgery.
Yeah, knee surgery, and he's young, right? So
yeah, he's 4, but very active. He's a English lab, so very rambunctious, and hurt his knee. Actually tore a tendon in his knee. So it's actually been a very eventful year. Everybody in my family, except for me, has had surgery. So I've been a very busy girl.
Yeah, been a hard week. And we were just talking about that before we came on. A big part of what we do in our program is learning to be stable in our wellness when life around us is so unpredictable and unstable. And so Dawn has been trying to do just that this week. And so Don, let's start by going over where were you before you and I met? Give me kind of like the before.
Well, the way I like to describe it, I think you actually quoted me on one of the week's statements. I always considered myself a linebacker. I come from actually I resemble my grandmother. My dad is from Scotland, and she was known by the people in her village being the strong woman. She lifted a bag of grain that the other men would not pick up from the ground. And she was just known that way. And I have always resembled that, always broad shoulders, a big girl, strong, but a big girl. I was always the big kid in school. And losing weight or losing that weight has always been difficult. I always remember being in Weight Watchers with my mother, trying to lose some of that, being the big girl in sports, being the strong one. So weight has always been an issue for me. And at a certain point, I think probably after my 40s, no matter what I did, that didn't come off. So my mindset was, it didn't matter what I did. Didn't matter what I ate. That weight was never coming off. Didn't matter what I restricted from me. I wasn't going to lose that weight.
Yes. And I relate to you, Dawn, because I was the big girl as well. And, it's can become really, just that's who you are. And you had said to me, I'm a linebacker. And those were, like you said, your words. And we met in about May, was it? April? Late
it was March, late. I think it was March when I started the program. March, April, May, June, July, August. No, maybe it was May. No, it was May.
I think you were May. Right. And I remember when we met, you were really concerned about what you just said, like this was just not possible for you to change.
Right. It was just my way of life. And I wasn't like heavily over, like if you looked at me, I just looked what we call in my family sturdy. We come from a sturdy family. I was just a big girl. I wasn't like, I don't know, even though know the words. It wasn't like I looked overweight. I looked like a big girl and strong and sturdy, right? But I carried my weight in my midsection. And if one looked at me, it looked like I had a belly.
But I think that became more the case, Dawn, right? When you
absolutely,
yes,
absolutely, and that was where my concern was because of family issues with. I have heart issues in my family. I have diabetes in my family, and over the years, ever since my mother used to tell me, "You've got to watch that because you have sugar or diabetes in your family. That should be your concern." So, ever since I don't know 7th grade. That was always one of the concerns for me. I had to watch that. So I the old school Weight Watchers where you had 5 carbs and 7 proteins and 2 milks or whatever it was. Those were the ways I used to eat. Okay, great. Well, then they changed it and I gave up on all of that other stuff. But I had tried every kind of way to eat. I restricted carbs. I restricted, different things to the point that I just wouldn't eat during the day. I wasn't a big eater. So then my doctors would say, well, I don't understand why you're the weight you are. I'm like, because I'm a big girl. That's my bone structure. Well, what kind of mentality is that? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So it's that mind. I keep hating to say that, but it's that mindset. It's stuck in my head. I need to have a little weight on me in case something happens. My mother died of cancer. I need to have that in case I go into the hospital, whatever. Okay, I'm okay. Well, no, I'm not okay.
You're touching on so many good things, right? And so sure. I want to backtrack one more thing about your past. You were an athlete.
Oh, sure.
So tell us, you were not, when Dawn is talking about her big and strong, she was an athlete through college. Am I?
Oh yeah. I started in high school. I played through college.
And you played, what did you do? Basketball?
I played volleyball in college, but I played softball and volleyball in high school. In college, I would run 5-7 miles a day, but still, I weigh less now today than I did in college running 5 to 7 miles.
Yes, and we're going to get to that because Dawn has had a great success story. And then you said you've tried so many things. So she touched on so many things. You mentioned Weight Watchers. Any other? You said low carb. You restricted, and then she said, and you kind of just let it. She just started over restricting everything, and we see that so much because we hear that everything is bad at a different point in the what's available in the information world, right? On Google, wherever you go, this is bad, this is bad, this is that. And so what do? We start cutting this, cutting this, cutting this. And that's kind of where Dawn was. And I know sometimes like that doesn't make sense, but she was struggling more with her midsection when she was over restricting. Correct me if I'm saying anything wrong, Dawn.
No.
And that's when you and I kind of met, is like, I'm not even eating, and I'm getting worse. Things are getting worse. And it was
body wise.
Yeah. And so I like that you said that. And one other thing, you talked about all the health risks. That was really your motivation to want to be preventing getting unhealthy. And so those are all really good points. Let's go. So then you kind of took the step, right? It was risky. You were, you decided to go with the faith-based 5-principle method program. Tell me what has changed since we started working together.
Well, I had first started in the Friday group. You were a college friend to my best friend. And she's like, hey, you need to get on this group. We need to try this out. Because she watches and she does the same thing. I play ball with her. And she's like, hey, you need to try this out. And some of the stuff that you were saying, because we had tried Orange Theory to work out, and we were exhausted. I was sore. I hurt my hip at Orange Theory, and I was in pain for a year. Diana fixed it for me. She looked at me. She goes, this is what we're going to do to fix it. I am now pain-free. She's my hero just because of that.
That makes me so happy. Guys, give us a drum roll, man, in the comments.
I mean,
because I fixed it, but because she's pain-free now. That still makes me
you're my hero because you fixed it.
Thank you.
But to think that I, as an athlete, that I went to a place that people rave about to do, and they have trainers that I talked to about this pain, that told me how to adapt their program to. They couldn't help me. I was doing what they were telling me to do. I worked with them for 6 months on it. It didn't go away. And then I had a pain for a year after that. And I didn't lose a pound at Orange Theory. And again, running in my late 40s, running 3 miles plus cardio, plus strength training. So when you were talking in your Friday group about you don't have to work out like that, there's a different way to work out, stressing your body out because of the types, I was like, huh? I was like a deer with my eyes wide open, staring into headlights going, what you're saying is like new information to me as an athlete, former athlete, going, what is this woman saying to me? So then I decided to go, let me work with this lady. Maybe she can teach me stuff that I think I know. Obviously, I don't know. And then my world was blown because you taught me how to build my plan, how the stuff about proteins, how it's all really based around my protein, which I obviously wasn't getting in my diet. The stuff about balancing your carbs, your fats and your protein, but more protein, and then the exercise and how to do that properly without stressing out your body. And that whole thing, and then bringing the Lord into, hey, wait, you have to, because to me, I gave all my worries and stuff to the Lord, but I never thought of, hey, wait a minute, my weight and my health, yeah, when I'm sick or when it's serious, but my day-to-day stuff, never thought, absolutely never thought. He needs to help me every day fight this thing with food, or to get my daily stuff conquered with food. Because I never thought I had an issue with food. but obviously I wasn't eating enough food, and that's my issue. My being scared to get on a scale because I was afraid it wasn't going to budge no matter what I did. That's my issue. And that I have to give over to the Lord.
Yes. And again, so many golden nuggets, guys. If you are appreciating and resonating with Dawn, give us some just thumbs up or yays in the comment. You said what Dawn talked about, and I remember that training that I did when the group was newer. And one of the things I talk a lot about, exercise more, eat less, exercise more, eat less, exercise harder, exercise more, eat less, restrict. And that's exactly where Dawn, she was. And again, it makes sense. You got to lose weight. Exercise more, eat less. It makes mental sense, but for our middle-aged women bodies, it does not make sense. In fact, it's harmful. It's harmful on so many levels, but you gotta change. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, right? And that's what, but what Dawn did, and she said, oh, I'm hearing something different. I'm going to take that step. And that's huge because that was the first step. And again, I didn't know Dawn. She knew my friend from college and, but she still had to trust that perhaps I could help her. So thank you always, guys. When clients trust me with their health, every one of them I so cherish for the life of me because everyone, that's a huge step. So thank you. And then what you said about the Lord, two things you said, inviting the Lord into your daily struggles of health and choices, and then the struggle to face the scale. That was a big thing with Dawn. So Dawn had believed, so let's lean into the lie. And if you can resonate with this lie, I want you to drop lie in the comments. Dawn really believed she would always be sturdy and, big and stuck. And that was just how she had to learn to live her life. She believed that lie. And we've had to face this lie. We face it consistently. We keep until eventually we're going to kill it, right? We're renewing the mind. And I resonate with Dawn's struggles because they're similar to mine. That doesn't mean I have clients who have different struggles, but I resonate with that struggle because I'm the same. I'm a big girl and the scale can torment my mind. And that's kind of what it did for you, right, Dawn? I'm not exaggerating.
Oh, yes.
Every time she would hit a plateau, we have to face this enemy of the scale ruling, becoming like the supreme thought. And so when she would expect it to go down, and many times on her weigh-in day, I even know Dawn's weigh-in day because I get so nervous because I know if the scale goes a little up, she's going to be discouraged. But we're working through that. So talk about that struggle, because that struggle, that was really the mindset piece that I wanted to lean in with your talk today, because so many women, the scale is our God. We don't say that. We say, oh, we don't have idols in our life. But I'll tell you, the scale can do that. I was just telling Dawn before the interview, just a few weeks ago, I started being a slave to my scale. I'm trying to break new barriers and I wasn't succeeding. And boy, was I starting to spin out of control. And then I started doing what I was even telling Dawn to do into my life and starting to succeed again. So we're in this battle together, ladies. But walk us through that struggle with the mindset and the scale and that relationship, if you can, a little bit.
And for me, it was always, I could go through the week and feel the differences in my body and be like, oh, I'm going to hit that scale. It's going to be great. I could feel it in my clothes. I could feel it in my shoes. I could all over weird. You could feel it in your shoes. And
I remember that.
I would wake up Saturday morning and this gut feeling in my stomach, and I would lay in bed and go, do my belly breaths, because that gut feeling of that scale's not going to move. I know for sure that scale's not going to move. And I would pray to the Lord that it'd be like, okay, it doesn't matter because I am in a different size. I remember the first time I stood in a dressing room and got into different size jeans, and I had tears coming down my face because to me, that was good enough. That was good enough for me because that was a huge win. I didn't care what the scale meant. The scale, and my own sister, she doesn't like food. She's the pickiest eater. She could care less. She doesn't like Thanksgiving. She's never been full. She's never stuffed, nothing. Tells me, It doesn't matter what the scale says, Dawn. It doesn't matter what the scale says. How do you feel? How do you look? You look fantastic. These are the wins that you have.
Mm-hmm.
And she has that in the back of my head. So every time after that scale, I don't care what your scale says. Look at yourself in the mirror. Learn to love yourself. Learn to love yourself and what you look like. It doesn't matter.
Yes.
And then go back to your journal and write those thank yous about what you're feeling. Thank the Lord for those other wins that you have.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also learning to put in my head and my goals of seeing myself at those other wins, at those other levels, because I need to get there for my health.
Yeah. And I want to, yes, this is so good. And so, and so again, as much as the work was to be denouncing the lies, we're replacing with the truth. So Dawn and I work a lot on like, let's picture you at that number.
Absolutely.
And let's believe that you're going to get to that number. And again, these are not mind games, but these are breaking down barriers in our minds that the Satan wants to hold us back. And so, it's been so fun to do that. And I am just so proud of you. Tell us, Dawn, how much total weight have you lost?
40 pounds.
So that is in about May, June, July, August, September, 6 months, 40 pounds. And you're how far from your goal?
20.
Yeah. So she's on track, doing amazing. And you went from what's extra large to medium?
Yeah, the mediums are getting a little bit big.
Amazing. And she mentioned her jean size. So, I mean, you've had outstanding results, but here's the thing. Dawn has been yielding her wellness to God, doing her work. She is faithful and consistent in showing up. She's doing the hard work, and it is so fun to coach someone like Dawn. I just love it. I want to ask you, what advice would you give someone who is in the spot you were in 5-6 months ago?
That was a hard question to think about, because you have to, like, I was scared to do it. And if I didn't jump in and do it now, I don't know that I would have done it. Because there was so much information that I learned. And I look at food and labels very differently now. So you just have to take the jump to do it. And it's not, I have so many Diana-isms now. It's not a selfish thing to take the time for yourself. And when I was thinking about what to talk about today, it's important to put yourself as a forefront for your health. And it's a lifetime fight. And that's why you have to be easy with yourself. And I say that all the time, because I have friends that look at me and go, oh, your diet is going. I go, it's not a diet. It is a lifetime journey. And you have to be easy with yourself, and you need to know what you're doing, because if you think of it as a diet, you're not going to be successful. You have to know what you're doing, and you need to do it wisely. Yes. And if you don't, you need to have guidance to do it.
Which which highlights the science and the scripture, right? You need the formula and you need the scripture. We talk about this a lot. And
I was just going to go there.
Yeah.
You have to have the Lord to do it.
Yes. And it's the selfish, it's stewardship, right? So often we kind of default to like, well, it's kind of putting me first. We're not trying to put me first, but we need to steward me to God, our bodies, our minds, our spirits. And there is hard work there. And it's a shift in that. And so I love that you said that. And what else? Any final thoughts? I'm looking at this last question I have here. Someone who's on the fence, what would you tell them about signing up for the faith-based 5-principle method? You kind of touched on that.
Take the jump and do it. And embrace the journaling of it. I was a little skeptical of that at first, but it's lovely, absolutely lovely to look back. And as you're going through it and seeing the things that you're struggling with, and seeing the Lord bless you with those answers, or helping you work through those, it's absolutely lovely. Yeah,
I love Dawn is in such a different place, guys. Like you're not afraid you won't know what to do because you've learned what to do, right? You know what you need to do to stay on your journey. We're still growing, but you have gained the
Oh,
tools
sure.
for sustainability, which is the best
Mhm.
part. Anything you want to say before we close today? And as you think about that, I want to remind you, ladies, about posting your gratitude. So after that, Dawn's going to give us her final words, her final thoughts. So you're going to gather them and I'm just going to direct you. So guys, I think these interviews are so inspirational. I'm inspired listening to Dawn. If you are too, let her know that in the comments because she took time. She's at work. And whenever these guys do this, I just love their willingness to be transparent, which is something we talk about a lot. That vulnerability, that sharing our story is a huge step to our transformation. So with that amount of time, Dawn, certainly you have final advice and words that you want to share with our women.
I guess just be gracious with yourself. And I'm very thankful for Diana. She has worked really hard with me, but that you give so much of yourself, all of yourself to us. And you're so inspiring. You share all of your story, and it means so much to me that you have given that to us. For us and anybody questioning the program and wanting to do it, I can't tell you enough. Just take the jump and do it. You will learn so much. It will help you. It has changed my life.
Oh, I love it, Dawn. This is so meaningful. And seriously,
Absolutely.
guys, we have a blast. We love this community and there's so many good things in this community. But our client, if you guys think this community is awesome, our client community is like really I say it's on steroids because we have such an awesome community. But yeah, Dawn, thank you. And the fun is only beginning. We're going to keep watching Dawn transform. And I'm just so excited to see God at work in your life. That's the most rewarding thing. And all that we do is in this process, it's not a gimmick, experience total transformation because weight loss becomes like secondary byproduct, but we're being transformed in our mind, body, and spirit so we can learn to love the life God has called us to and live it well. If that's what you've been looking for, ladies, if you want more and you're just still not sure, but let Dawn's story inspire you. And Dawn, again, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
We appreciate it. Ladies, have a wonderful weekend. Again, drop in the comments questions for Dawn, but also just show her your love. And we're here to encourage one another. All right, that's it for today, and we'll catch you next week.